I must miss the cue. I was too busy offering my wine up to Jeremiah. Hello, everybody. How is Ian? I was looking at Ian sitting all prim and proper. Who's my money? I know. You guys are the one that told me to pull the mic closer because you can't hear me, and I said that has never been a problem in my lifetime. So, anywho, they said we are at the Brass Rail. It is a beautiful day in paradise. Once again, kind of sick of saying that. I'd like to say we had a snow day one day.
Oh, for the love of God, no. I pay high rent for a reason. I don't want to be snow here.
We had a marine lair this morning.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, that is our day. We would like to welcome to They Said making her audition evening, Amber Regan. Yay!
Amanda Amber.
Aaron did not know her name. He was calling her Amanda, and we were all like not responding, and he got all frustrated. So now her name is Amanda Amber.
It's been a long time since there's been a man to Amber.
Well. So Amber, thank you for coming in. I'm so happy to have you. And tell our They Said people, who are you?
Who am I? Who's Amber? I've lived in San Diego about 16 years. This is definitely my home and where I plan on staying. I just moved to the neighborhood recently from Normal Heights, which is still Normal Heights. I think the lesbian neighborhood.
Out of that bubble.
Really made a leap there.
But I'm happy to be in the heart of Hillcrest. It's just a great community, and I'm glad to be a part of it. I work in the wine industry, and I have all of San Diego as my territory, so I'm out and about visiting restaurants every day all over
we got the wine
our fine city. Yeah.
Amber, you have the greatest job because you get to go, you always put pictures on Facebook like to these wine tastings and wine caves and wine dinners and everything. It looks like the most fun that you could have on a job.
It's a
except
pretty,
for maybe mine.
It's a pretty cool job, yeah. It's a.
How did you get into it? Because I know for a lot of years you worked at Ruth Chris, right?
I worked at Ruth Chris for 15 years. I just recently, in the last few months, became full-time in the wine industry. I've worked with wine for a very long time, and I got my sommelier degree.
Just gonna ask you that. You're full on every level of it? Nice.
Initially, I was writing restaurant reviews for the Lavender Lens for about 6 or 7 years. My column was called The Traveling Fork. And when I got my somm, I was helped out a few restaurants that became friends of mine with their wine lists, and a few of the restaurants, their wine list didn't make proper sense, and they had a lot of errors in it, so helped out a few people, and then through a friend of mine in the wine business, some business with those lists because he has all family estate wineries, and I always loved all his wines, and he eventually just brought me into the business. He always said, "Hey babe, I'm going to bring you on," and he never did for years. And then he had a health problem, and he sent an email that I sent to him saying 10 accounts I thought I could propose these wines to, and he sent it to the owner of Tory Wines, who brought me in, and I worked with Bill for 3 years in this industry, and he recently had a stroke, which is yeah, he was in his car, wasn't found for 24 hours, but he's got an amazing spirit, and he's still with us, and he's fighting, and he's doing, making little penguin improvements every day, but he's getting there. In the meantime, I've taken over for Bill, which is a lot of big shoes to fill. He's a big guy in the wine industry. He's built huge brands like La Crema and Rombauer, and big brands that started out as little small family estate wineries, and that's what we do. So
you work for an actual company, and you represent like different wineries?
We're a broker and an importer. We import some wines from Mexico, and then we broker wines from all over California and a small book of international wines. And they're all wineries that are actually from the States.
We're about ready to read you our wine list at Martinis.
I'd love to come in.
Yeah,
my boss always asks me why we don't have wine.
You bring up what I wanted to go back to. Can you have like a mistake on a wine list?
Yes.
When you say that, like, what does it mean without like going into? Well, as far as I'm concerned, if you have a couple different varietals, like you've got to. So what's one of the biggest mistakes someone makes when they put together?
Oh God.
Well, there's a lot of mistakes you can make. I mean, in any wine list, you want to have a goal and a cohesiveness. So you want to have a nice range of whites to reds, and it's how you want to list them. If you want to list them by price, do you want to list them by, lighter to fuller bodied? It depends on the amount of wines in your list, or how you're going to want to arrange them so it makes sense to the guest when they look at your list. You want to be consistent.
Or makes sense to us.
Right. You want to be consistent in, whether you're listing the vintage first or the, varietal first or the winery first. You want to be consistent among your list.
The menu. That makes sense.
You want to definitely make sure you have the year, the name of the winery, the varietal, and the region.
What's your? Because I know one of our viewers who watches this on a regular basis loves wine.
Oh, good.
He loves wine. Michael Pape. What's your favorite wine? What is your absolute favorite red?
Keenan, Robert Keenan Winery in Spring Mountain, Napa Valley. Just amazing wines, a big concentrated mountain fruit wines.
Or is it
he
one
makes,
of those fancy names?
They make a lot of wines out in the market. Here they have, Cab, Zin, Merlot, Chardonnay, some reserve stuff. He makes a wine called Marinade. All of his wines usually get like 96 points and fantastic winemaker and really neat winery.
What do you think of Two Buck Chuck Charles Shaw? It's very fun.
There's something for every reason.
Y'all don't even know what Two Buck Chuck is.
Well, I mean, I think that there's a definite place for that. There's
the $1.99 wine they sell at Trader Joe's.
Yeah,
Two Buck Chuck.
was it Peter Billa?
I was watching. Who was Rachel Ray. I was watching Rachel Ray, and she cooked a whole thing of pasta in red wine. And I thought, wow, isn't that cool? So if you had $2 Chuck, why not? It was $2. Who cares?
Oh my God, I used to cook your pasta. I use the $2 Chuck Chardonnay, the Sauvignon, and I make my sautéed creminis with garlic, and then oh my God, and then you reduce the wine, and you just let them cook, and they turn out so caramely and so delicious. I'm stuck on these cremini mushrooms lately.
I want to point some out. Don't take this the wrong way, but I do love that you're wearing Birkenstocks.
Oh, I thought you guys said I was a lesbian, so I thought I'd throw my sweater vest on.
Oh my God,
these are the dress Birkenstocks. They're the
I noticed that right off the bat. I'm like, she must be the lesbian.
She came as advertised. And you do look kind of adventurous.
Oh, I'm very adventurous.
And I have to know, I've known her for a very long time. I think that we met probably somehow through Baja Betty's.
So. Oh, definitely.
So we've been in each other's circles for a very long time, and I thought she'd be perfect to come in and sit in with us and see how she melds with Alejandra, especially.
Oh, that one's very difficult.
I know, just picking on you.
I was stoked you guys thought of me.
Well, welcome, Amber Dawn. We love having you here today. Jeremiah.
Yes, babe.
Welcome back, love.
That's good.
It's always a sad day when you're not here. Last week.
I only have been here a year, so I guess it doesn't make sense.
Ian, Alex, and I yucked it up last week like it was our business.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys had a lot of fun without me.
Well, we didn't have fun without you.
We had fun, yeah, exactly.
We don't have fun without you.
We would have had more fun if you would have been here.
Okay, that's my ego needs that. I appreciate it.
So, if those of you that will see us tomorrow when the show gets put up, provided producer Joey can get his act together before he leaves for Brazil, you'll be seeing this, and you'll be seeing today is the day after the Super Bowl. And I guess they're calling it the Madonna Bowl. Okay.
Who's they?
Well,
okay.
I'm just kidding.
First of all, who saw it?
I watched the halftime show.
I did.
Eric Hufford, I know you saw it.
I watched it online.
You watched it, but you saw it.
Yeah.
All I did was watch the halftime show.
I didn't know. Actually, I was too busy helping Grandma move. So that took precedence.
I ate a lot of food and got really drunk. I saw a couple commercials.
Well, I saw the whole entire thing from the pregame at 10 in the morning. I didn't see exactly all of it, but through the game and the commercials and the Madonna, and I thought it was the most enjoyable day. It was really fantastic. I enjoyed the game. It's a little sad for me because that is the last football game until August.
Wait, who won?
The New York Giants.
Which is Tom Brady, right?
No, that's Eli Manning.
Oh, Tom Brady's the cuter of the quarterbacks.
Tom Brady is the cute quarterback of
God,
the
I wanted him to win
Patriots.
so bad.
And the one that is also married to Giselle Bundchen.
Yeah.
Did you hear what she just said?
What did happen?
Did you see that?
Well, somebody was giving her a little hard time after the game for obviously the Patriots losing, and she turns around. She goes, "Well, you know what? Well, my husband can't throw the ball and catch the ball at the same time." So essentially, she was kind of throwing a jab at the wide receivers. Yeah,
so they came out. She was walking to like the locker room where she was consoling Tom after the game.
Well, I've consoled
and,
too.
and people were in the background going, "Oh, Manning rules, you're good." And she goes, "My fucking husband can't throw the ball and catch the ball. What do you expect him to do if the receivers were dropping the balls all day?" So now the organization and the organization hasn't come out and said anything. They wouldn't dare.
Yeah, they're proud.
But the guys have come out and said that she has broken the brother code. You don't say that. If you're a wife, you keep your big
Watch out, the next Jessica Simpson.
Yeah. Jessica Simpson. No, she's like,
remember with the Dallas Cowboys? They all
Tony Romo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but this is worse because Giselle is a wife. This isn't her first year. It's not her first time at the rodeo. She was, I'm sure, upset. But think how they felt.
Oh, they need to get out.
She sat up in the owner's box and drank Chardonnay all day. So that was that.
Yeah,
and
but you gotta like look at the way she was looking at it. You know, you're getting attacked for something that it's not your fault, and you gotta come on, throw some dirt out there. Fuck, I would have done the fucking probably the same thing.
Alejandra, you don't do that if your husband plays on a team sport like football, but that's okay.
Not even that, but I mean, he's pretty much the marquee player of the NFL. I mean, still, at least still. I don't know, that may not be the same thing next year. Ian, what's your opinion on that?
What? I was thinking about
He just looks so oblivious. I was like, I guess
I'm sorry, I'm still thinking about what's Tony Romo now. Just kidding.
All right, so
I want to
obviously,
say I only turned on the TV, like literally. I was like, oh, it's not halftime yet. I turned the channel. Oh, it's not halftime yet. I turned the channel, and then the only two things I caught of the whole thing was some ball being thrown at one point. But then I caught the Madonna halftime show, which, like, I have my opinion on that show. And then I saw
that's why we're here.
and then I saw the David Beckham underwear ad and was like,
We're gonna get to that. So tell us your opinion on the Madonna, if that's all you saw.
First, I loved her entrance. The grand entrance is fierce. I mean, you always gotta have a big entrance. But the overall of it, I mean, it's good to see her back up on stage. She was lip syncing, which I kind of figured she would. But I think she lost a little, and don't be throwing knives at me, Eric. I feel like she lost a little bit of her dancing abilities.
She got a full hamstring.
No, but still, she was kind of like
She was on the injured reserve.
She's probably arthritic.
yeah. Well, I mean, she's like in her 50s. She's in her 50s. She didn't have the rhythm that she has always had.
How do you dance with a pulled hamstring? At least she didn't cancel.
No,
She can't cancel.
She can't cancel.
You have a pulled hamstring, you can't do your
Well,
act.
if you have a pulled hamstring, you can pull through it.
Okay, well, I'll tell you because
But I
this is
love
why we're here.
Like a Prayer was my favorite part of the whole
Absolutely.
thing.
And I will tell you that she was not lip syncing in Like a Prayer. She started singing live. I thought it started out so horrible. When she started voguing and she was lip syncing and it was so obvious, the most dopest part was those four guys in those white Adidas tracksuits dancing.
Oh, that was good.
Oh my God. I didn't care if she could dance or not because they were fantastic.
What about that shirt?
And then the guy on the, I'm getting to that, Luis. Hold on there, honey. The guy on the, did you see on the tightrope off the ground?
Yeah, that was interesting.
And he is an extreme sports guy. She has hired him to go on tour with her.
She always hires like.
And he's going to be like part of the act. Like he was doing like
That's
balancing,
cool.
like doing flips and stuff like that on this high wire that was like this far off the ground.
She
You have
did
to
her.
YouTube that one.
Keep it Vegas, baby.
I think it
And
was
so
like this
then
high.
they switched into it, and then she did start singing live. So, and then when CeeLo Green came out, and do we really care? Did you hear it on the media today that MIA girl Mia flipped the bird?
Nobody noticed it.
Oh.
Do we?
Here's my opinion on that aspect. Is like, I'm sorry, I do not picture MIA and what's her name? I love her. Nicki Minaj in cheerleader outfits, like singing. I'm sorry, like Madonna's new song's kind of growing on me, but they're in cheerleading outfits. You're not like they're rappers. They're supposed to be badass. They're not cheerleaders.
So funny.
Oh, I thought it was cute.
Oh, I did not.
I thought it
I
was
think they
really
were going with
I
the
did
theme.
not like it.
Yeah, didn't you?
No, that's
did you
what's
see
in.
that?
It's in the video. Her new video
Oh, I
has them
haven't
in that.
seen
Yeah,
it.
It's all
they're
like,
in it too.
Madonna.
But do we care? I mean, seriously, should there be all this uproar today from these stupid Christian groups that she flipped the bird? Do we care?
So,
I love her.
so I didn't watch the halftime show, but what I did see was a still picture, and it was of her flipping off the camera. And if you'll notice, if you look to the left, there's two girls in, I don't know, onesies or unitards,
Costumes.
whatever. But they're on on their shoulders, their feet are on the ground, and their vaginas are straight up in the air.
Oh, I should have seen that.
And you missed that one? But that's my point. So you got Emily flipping off the camera, and then you got two pussies right there. It's like, that is the offensive thing? That's the thing that's hurting, harming the family? So
I mean, I think she did it because she wanted the attention, and she got it.
I think you're right. I think you're exactly right, Alex, because that is all anyone's talking about today. And they did not show it, I don't think, on camera. I didn't see it. I watched the whole thing. But of course, that damn internet, it's up there 5 seconds later.
It was like the nipple bowl. Remember the nipple?
I never saw that either.
Saying too that she said like something about I don't give a shit or something, and then that the blip came up a little bit too late.
Well, anyhow, as far as American history and pop culture, it was the most watched television event ever.
Wow.
Well, the halftime show was more. Wasn't the halftime show
114 million, is that what they're saying? 50% of all televisions in the United States were turned on to that channel. Plus whatever the European and the foreign markets are for that. So, and Twitter, I think, saw a record number of tweets yesterday. How could you do tweeting and watch the game? It was, and the commercials and drink
really
tequila
easy.
shots with
you
Bob.
put your head down and you
I was watching the game, and I missed some of the commercials because I was on Twitter. But we will talk about that when we come right back. And we are back. We are being kind of testy today. The producers are kind of like, Ian?
Oh my God, what?
I don't understand how Ian does it.
Like a lady.
Ian, do you have gum in your mouth?
No.
Ian?
Put your hand out. Put your hand out.
I don't understand. Give it up.
Excuse me. First of all, you're not my mother. Second of all,
But you're talking on a talk show.
Nobody could tell until you pointed out. I have to have minty fresh breath.
Oh my God. Okay, well.
Thank you, my friend.
I'm not blowing bubbles.
You can always tell.
Down.
Tacky. Okay, so we are going back really. Oh, hi.
Thank you.
There we go.
All
right.
We're upgrading.
Well, here you go. Welcome to you, Amber.
I see. You bring wine, and that holds us all in.
Right? Delicious. Lots of.
Well, I was going to say, Amber, you brought this wine for the show. Would you like to tell us a little bit about it?
Oh, that's right. It's a little family estate winery in Napa Valley. They're right off the Silverado Trail. It's called Frank Family Vineyards. Pretty well known. Great wines. Used to be owned by Rich Frank, who's a bigwig in Disneyland. A cult wine in LA. It's one of the oldest structures in Napa, the Larkmead Cellars.
Well, thank you for bringing it here. We can put it down now. Okay, so back to the commercials in the Super Bowl. So you made mention of the David Beckham commercials.
Yes.
You know, Madonna said that when she agreed to do the halftime, she was bringing gay to the Super Bowl, and she did. I have never seen so much excitement from this community over a halftime show. They could care less about it. There was parties, there was Evites. I mean, there was people watching it.
They were watching it just for the half show.
They were.
Duh.
And then they did David Beckham's ad for his new underwear. Did you see this ad?
I did.
Did you see the
It's
pictures?
hot.
It was a black and white, like a film noir, almost like The Artist, and it just showed up and down. Like, it was the most sexist commercial, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Up and down, his body, all of his tats.
So was it? I mean, did it border on inappropriate? I guess.
No.
It's not like
I'm probably asking the wrong person.
No, it was nothing like you wouldn't see on a Victoria's Secret.
No, exactly. I think
absolutely.
It was a male version of a Victoria's.
Yeah, it was a male version.
It totally was.
So essentially, it was a man who was, I don't know, displaying himself in a sexual manner that would be completely okay with a woman.
People aren't used to seeing that.
Right.
It was perfectly okay for him.
But no one's used to seeing it. It's fine for women.
No,
that's the point I'm trying to make. Is like, I mean, honestly, I don't care, but I think it is kind of interesting to see that kind of progress on a Super Bowl commercial being watched by everybody, the largest watched show ever. And I mean, that there's not really, other than Roland Martin's comments on it. It's actually pretty well accepted. Nobody's freaking out.
The Super Bowl is turning people gay one commercial at a time.
Well, I don't know all that. So, I want you to tell us what Roland Martin said. The tweets I told you were flying fast and furious yesterday. Right. However, David Beckham did say this is his last campaign in this sort of shots because it's embarrassing his older boys. And they're saying
that he's 40, you know?
Well, the kids are old enough, like they're in school now, and they're like more. Can you imagine if your dad was like an underwear model on every building and
what is wrong with that?
I don't think anything if you're Victoria.
That
but
means
I
you
think
also
if
get
you're
a brand new car when you're 16 years old. So.
Well, he just signed again with the LA.
A lot of people would cancel their cable.
I loved it. I've loved David Beckham all since I've known about him when he played at Manchester United. So I didn't think anything was wrong with it at all. However, Roland Martin, the CNN anchor, had a big problem with the commercial.
Commercial.
What did he tweet?
Well, essentially, he said, he goes, if you're with your boys and they're excited over an underwear commercial, you need to slap the ish out of them, which is a colloquialism for shit.
Right.
And then it kind of went back and forth with Glad. As far as an argument, he goes, well, don't misinterpret what I said. It's not about sexuality. I'm just saying if they're focusing on that, you need to talk to them.
He came back. The thing is, he came back with that statement this morning.
Right.
And that's when he said it was because Glad was harassing him about it. But there's also with him, there's a history of this behavior with him. When, what's his name from Saturday Night Live? Said the thing in his stand-up comedy about homosexuals. If his son was gay, he'd kill him, kind of thing.
Tracy Morgan.
Tracy Morgan. So this guy actually was supporting that comment back then. So he has a history of showing this kind of behavior. Now, my opinion on this, because he posted on Facebook and on Twitter. I mean, he works for CNN, and that's why he's getting the backlash. But I mean, he posted on his Facebook and Twitter. Everyone has the right to say what they say. There's many people on my Facebook that I don't like the comments they say about people.
Do you feel it was gay bashing?
I feel it was directed at that.
This is interesting
I do feel it was directed
this is what he immediately tweeted yesterday after the first one. He said, "I bet soccer fan at Piers Morgan will be in line at H&M in the morning to get his hands on David Beckham's underwear line. LOL." There, really quickly, Piers Morgan is a huge English football fanatic. We always tweet on Sunday mornings during games. There's people that tweet him. He's trying to now cover it up like, oh, my fellow CNN anchor, I was just ribbing you about soccer, which I think is a load of crap.
Yeah.
He said to me, he said, "I made several cracks about soccer, as I do all the time. I was not referring to sexuality directly or indirectly. I'm sorry folks took it otherwise. It was meant to be a deliberately over-the-top and sarcastic crack about soccer." How does that...
Well, that's...
Slapping the crap out of someone, how is that relate to soccer?
That goes with the whole damage control. I mean, all these people say things that they regret doing, and then that's how they're trying to fix the problem, is by releasing these statements that, I was directing it at something else, not that.
Yeah, I know. It's backtrack.
But I mean, how many straight, and no offense to you, but I know a lot of but I mean, there's a lot of straight guys who I believe, family members that I'm around, that would say comments like that
all the time.
It's because it's
around it all the time.
Here's the thing I'm thinking is, I don't know if necessarily he was trying to address the gay community, but I do think what essentially becomes about men and sexuality and femininity. If you can express yourself sexually, especially if you're very comfortable in your sexuality, there's a masculine component, there's a feminine component. But the thing is, as a straight man, it's not okay to be femininely beautiful. It's not be femininely confident in your sexuality. And I think that's probably more than anything I see written there. That's what he's directed at. He's actually, kind of joshing people. He's being derogatory because there's a man who is essentially completely and utterly comfortable in his sexuality. People recognize that,
Beckham.
and it's Beckham, and right now Roland Martin is kind of showing that he's not comfortable with that.
Oh,
really not a lot of.
But don't you think that shows huge
like
for homophobia?
Homophobia is. I mean, that's what it becomes down the line. But I think when you get to the base of it, it's mainly just people not being comfortable with their own feminine sexuality.
Right. Not his sexuality, but sexuality at all.
Well, just being.
It's so okay for men just to say that when they're manly men, to make fun of something like that. It's just easy and it makes them feel manlier.
But if he wanted to take a shot,
it's okay to be uber manly. It's not, but I mean, just even a touch bit feminine.
One thing
becomes
like
an issue
that happens, and they have to make a joke about it so they can feel comfortable just watching it.
And if it's about Beckham, the soccer player, there's so many other things that he could have said rather than slap the crap out of him.
We all know it wasn't really about.
Yeah, I know. I got that. But let me ask you the other side. Do you think that sometimes GLAAD and the HRC and other organizations, do they act too quickly and demand for resignations and firings too quickly?
I think so. But I mean, this also kind of goes back to the Cynthia Nixon thing. I didn't necessarily, and for those who may not know or didn't watch the show 2 weeks ago, we addressed that Cynthia Nixon said that being gay for her is a choice. Right. I didn't see such a huge issue with that, but it became an issue because that's where the battleground is. It's you know, if we say, okay, it's a choice, then all of a sudden people are going, well, then you don't have to be. You can change. It's not right. You can make a choice not to be. As an American citizen, I think we have the right to choose whatever we want.
That's right.
And so I think when it comes to GLAAD jumping on people over stuff like this, it's because it's become so, the argument's become so extreme and so, that's what I'm looking for here. It's become just so heated that you really do need to, you know, the battleground is simply that. It's like it's either all or nothing. You need to go full force or you need to back off. And I think, maybe they're not justified, but it's what it's become.
Well, and I mean, GLAAD does. It's an amazing organization. They do a lot, but we as Americans, we have the right to our opinions, and we are able to voice our opinions. It's not like he was on, like, by asking for his resignation, he wasn't at work on CNN doing a broadcast and saying, like, little derogatory comments. This was on his own personal time, on his own Facebook and Twitter. So,
I agree.
Do I feel that he should be fired? No.
No,
and I'm a gay man, but...
Has anyone seen what Don Lemon?
Over the underwear comment?
Yeah, over
GLAAD is asking
what they're
for
perceiving as anti-gay statements. So let's go to another thing. Huge story in the news last week was the Susan G. Komen pulling the funds from Planned Parenthood. Do you know about this? Alejandra, tell us.
Didn't we talk about it last week?
No.
Yes.
No, we didn't.
Yes, we did.
Oh,
yes, we did. But we didn't talk about them. We didn't talk about them giving the funds back.
The whole
so this just happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, do you know about that? Do you want to talk about it?
Not really, because I watched it in a Spanish channel, so I can't translate right now because I'm buzzed.
Well, what I found is interesting that came out today is that what is she, a vice president of Susan G. Komen?
Yeah.
She's completely, her name's Karen Handel, she is all against abortion. Completely against it. So this was a leak from, Susan G. Komen saying that it was her plan to get
one of the underlings, yeah.
Yes, like this was her agenda. She was writing up the new policies on government funding and all that.
The grants that they were awarded.
Yeah.
And
and this is all her. So I mean, that this is leaking out is very interesting.
Well, they said that any organization that is under any kind of investigation is not eligible for these funds that we have. Right. Apparently, somewhere Planned Parenthood is under investigation from, guess what? Republican senators. Sure. Imagine that.
Yeah.
So they were saying, well, this is an easy loophole for us to pull funding for this. What they didn't say is that they pulled funding from Johns Hopkins. They pulled funding from a lot of other hospitals, mostly due in part to the stem cell research programs. Yeah. They are not funding those anymore.
Well, and they're also saying that, anytime there was talks of having a big rally or boycott or anything like that, she was all for it.
Yeah, she was the instigator.
She was a very big instigator. Also, they're saying that none of the money that Planned Parenthood got from Komen went towards actual abortions.
Right.
I get that as a person who works in nonprofit industry, you get funds that usually come and they're going towards a specific program.
Well, they're earmarked for stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
And my other question on all of this is Susan G. Komen's, if it's a 501c3, if it's a nonprofit, they're not supposed to have a stance in political issues. That's where I don't get it. So the whole abortion aspect of it is what confuses me about all this too. And I think it's
So does it change your mind about the brand Susan G. Komen?
Oh, they're fucked.
Yeah, they are
definitely. I see those 3-day commercials now, and I want to turn the channel. I will never give. I'm sorry to say this, but I will never give anyone walking support for it. It's really bad.
Really sad.
It is sad, but I could put that money elsewhere, Ian.
Right. No, I get that, but I think it's sad the outcome of it.
It is, but it isn't, because the one thing that this situation has done is it actually forced people to look at the books, the infrastructure of Susan G. Komen, and they found that the CEO is getting paid $5 million a year.
That's unbelievable.
But not that, but their ratio of donations to what gets donated, their infrastructure is so bloated, and they're pulling such a huge payroll from top to bottom that I think only 20% of the money that they actually raise goes to cancer prevention.
For someone to do one of those 3-day walks, they have to raise at least $3,000 just to participate. I'm helping a friend raise money at a restaurant for her 3-day walk, and this has started before all this happened, but either way, I would still help her. She's trying to do something good, right?
But why wouldn't you help? Other organizations that do the same thing.
Well, it is definitely tarnish the brand.
I mean, by me doing AIDS Life Cycle in June, I have to raise $3,000, and I get that because I mean, there's overhead expenses and all that, staffing to it. But as I talked to somebody recently too, who did the 3-day last year, and she said she won't do it again, and she was completely disgusted by like what is happening with it. So I mean, they definitely have tarnished their organization, and like you said, I mean, it's really going to affect those people who actually are benefiting.
They're probably going to either have to rebrand or they're just going to take a huge hit.
But here's the other thing. Do they fund do the funds that they raise they're earmarked for all of these organizations? So do they support locally here in San Diego? Do they give money to is money earmarked for programs in San Diego?
There's a clinic.
There is.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that by there being like a San Diego base, I'm sure just kind of like how AIDS Walk is the money distributed to local organizations. So I'm pretty sure that a big chunk of the San Diego money stays in San Diego.
Well, I have to say, what I learned about birth control and what that, I didn't really learn sort of from my mom. She gave me the talk, but I really did learn at Planned Parenthood.
Me too.
I went to Planned Parenthood for a long time. I was in college. I could use health services, which I did. Yeah. But Planned Parenthood, they were just so nice, and they told you all the information, and they gave you options for birth control. And, I can't say enough about them. I hope that during the course of this, and I think I did hear this, that their donations have risen significantly of people donating to the organization, whether on a local level or a national level. And I just think the whole thing just reeks of political agendas, and it makes me sick. And they're all the fucking Tea Parties, so we're not even going to go there.
I've used Planned Parenthood so many times, and they've always been there. So when you don't have health insurance, whether you have it or not, they're there for you. Yeah. And it's on a sliding fee scale. And
I agree.
And that's the thing I remember, because I grew up, I went to high school in Nebraska, which is a red state, and through my experience, very easy one, was like some of the girls I would date, they would actually go to Planned Parenthood to get their birth control because it was fairly anonymous, cheap,
affordable.
Yeah, exactly. And then they were able to, because abstinence education really, I don't know.
That's it.
Yeah, it's
not in the Midwest.
Yeah.
No.
So
they have.
I think that it may be different now. They do teach a lot. What are you talking about? Have you ever gotten anyone pregnant?
They have hay sex?
Have you ever gotten anyone pregnant?
I never had sex with a woman.
Oh, you're a Gold Star transsexual?
Never had.
Is that what it's called?
Gold Star gay?
Yeah. She's a transsexual.
I had received oral sex from a woman, but that's as far as I went, and it was because I wanted to get with their man. So.
Oh my God, you're so scandalous. Well,
but you could still get her pregnant that way, though.
Really? Come on. I met some hick from the fucking side.
Oh my God, that's hysterical. All right, we're gonna take a break. We'll see you in a minute. I tell you, there's some weird energy in this room today.
It's a full moon.
Is that what it is? There is some weird energy in here, and it's
I am staying in Hillcrest tonight, then.
Yeah, Alejandra keeps saying, "Oh, I'm not going out tonight." I'll tell you what. I left her butt at Moe's last week because I said this is going to go nowhere fast. There were shots being flown around that bar. I said, I cannot go to work my Monday hung over like anything. I left. And then Alejandra says she came back here after.
And I was sitting at the curb by midnight.
And continued to whoop it up at 80s night.
You were sitting at the curb?
Not at the curb, on the curb.
Oh my, bless your heart.
Bless your little pointed pirate head.
Hey.
She was dressed like a pirate last week, remember? Weren't you?
No, it wasn't.
What was it? A wench?
No, it was just like a little top.
Okay, you're understanding.
It was so little, I had to put a vest on top.
Okay, so
I'm all for the vest.
Some interesting, really news. Tomorrow, supposedly, they're going to have some sort of announcement about Prop 8
it's
at 10 a.m.
supposed to be tomorrow. Like they are promising that tomorrow is the day.
It's going to court. It's finally having its day in court tomorrow.
It's been in court.
We're waiting on decisions decisions tomorrow.
Gotcha.
On if Judge Wapner, about his decisions and his rulings, and because there was conflict with him being gay.
They were supposed to release this in December.
Yes.
Is what they were saying. So,
but there's no way that they're going to say, okay, his decision is illegitimate because he's a gay man, because that's like saying, okay, well, this judge is black, so therefore he can't be allowed to rule on,
It's got to be a white straight judge.
Exactly, that's it, because those are the only people that are actually able to make those kinds of decisions.
So what? Okay, say that everything goes forward and everything goes in the way that we want it to do. What happens next?
Gets appealed and then it goes to the U.S. Supreme Court.
Is that what happens?
Yeah. Tomorrow's not really like.
Well, it's just an announcement.
So okay.
But it decides if it gets to go on or not. If the decision does not come in our favor, does it die there? Do we appeal?
Well, okay, I'm sorry. The original decision by Walker was that it's unconstitutional. Now, if they come back and say that it is constitutional, then I don't know who exactly the complaint is, but yeah, the gay community is going to move it up to the United States Supreme Court, the state. Okay, so essentially, but what happens if let's say if they say, okay, Walker was right, which I mean he is, and that it is unconstitutional, they're going to appeal,
and it'll go.
So either way, it's going to the Supreme Court. Okay.
So basically, it's moving a step ahead.
So this has been a long time.
Yeah, this is gonna it's actually very frustrating. It's just gonna keep going around in circles.
Do you think that it can go past the election? Like we won't know until.
I don't think anyone will touch it.
Well, we can go to Washington State now and get married.
No, I know, but like when the election comes, they're not going to have a decision either way.
No.
And meanwhile, the next state that's looking at gay marriage, legalizing gay marriage, is New Jersey. Mayor Booker is firmly behind it, and he is urging the government to go forward with legalizing gay marriage in New Jersey.
Is Chris Christie the governor there?
Yes.
Conservative.
Yes.
Well, he did appoint for his first gay cabinet member, though.
Can't read that.
So,
yeah, so very interesting. When we were having our producers meeting before we sat down, Aaron brought up a topic that I sort of was half listening to, but we're going to talk about it because it sounded interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
So Amber, Dawn, tell us what it was. What are we talking about?
Well, I don't remember his approach to the topic. My recollection of it is we're talking about businesses and their. Oh, you want to take over?
You're doing great.
We're talking about businesses and their approach to the gay community, whether or not the gay community is supporting these businesses and vice versa. Is that in a nutshell? There was something more to it.
Was the example?
Well, the thing that started was there was a small business in Tennessee.
Really?
And they refused to serve a Tennessee lawmaker because he had made some anti-gay statements and had even supported anti-gay legislation prior to that. And so they said, okay, well, hey, you're not welcome here. It's our right as a business to completely tell you, okay, we're not going to take care of you. Now, I think Aaron's question was, well, what if this was a Target? What if Target did that to someone?
This is saying as a small entrepreneur that refused business to someone.
Absolutely. And so he was just saying, like on a grand scale. I mean, like what if a Target? Because I mean, Target's been boycotted by the gay community. I've been told.
I got in a fight with a lady at Target because she wouldn't give me my money back on something I got for Christmas, and I said I would not spend one red dime in this place that denies.
That's a totally different subject.
Well, it goes with the thing of like small businesses have the signs up in their bars that say we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone. So basically, a person who's throwing anti-gay slurs is walking into a small business, and the business owner refuse service to that person.
So get the hell out of here. I'm not going to do business with you.
Right. So the question arises, is like, what do you feel about that as the good practices? And
on a small scale, a small scale to large scale is a whole different thing. Target can't do that because then they'll be in the public media for saying they refuse business to someone.
But it goes we, and I say we is because we always have like a boycott kind of thing, and there's a boycott against Target. I didn't know it was still in effect, but there's a boycott against Target. So here we're not supporting their business, but then we're running a business and we're not allowing someone. You know what I mean? So it's vice versa.
I think what we said was
torn on
well, I would never put a sign like that up if I owned a small business because
I wouldn't.
No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't.
Because why can't you rise above that? Because they're making. You already said it's a free country. You should be able to say what
you would have put the sentence says we reserve the right to not.
Well, yeah, I would say that, but I wouldn't kick someone out for making anti-gay comments. I mean, unless they were like derogatory, someone at their face, like if it was
someone
hostile.
one of your staff.
Actually, I think you just pointed out what I would do. If I owned a small business, granted, I know small business is all about like you're making money and you're supporting your life and da 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 da. But I do have my beliefs. I do like if I own a restaurant and bar and like obviously like I had gay people in there. Those are people. That's their home for them. They can't go into every place and actually be comfortable and be with like their lovers or da da da. So this is their home. If someone were to come in and start yelling anti-gay slurs, I'd say get the fuck out of my business.
That's not acceptable at all.
Exactly.
If you had made a statement somewhere, like say he tweeted it, would you deny him then?
Depends on if he was cute or not. I'm totally kidding. I'm totally kidding.
I know.
No, but I mean, in all honesty, if it's a gay bar, I mean, everybody has the right to their opinion. It doesn't mean you have to support their opinion. Like, you know, it's that business owner had the right to make that decision because it is affecting her income.
Right.
So she suffers the consequences.
So is it a smart idea to cross politics and business?
I personally do not think it is. Like,
okay.
Well, you're running a business. You can't refuse service to anyone. I mean, if someone comes in and assaults your customer or an employee, you can say, "Hey, that's not okay here," you know. But if they're going to buy a $500 surfboard, you know.
But that's what happens if they're doing it at the place of work, you know.
Well, that's
if it's doing like over the internet or whatever, it doesn't affect yours.
Well, that's the thing. If I come in there and I act an asshole in your business, I can understand why you're going to kick me out because I'm an asshole. I don't belong.
It's going to affect all my other customers in that business.
But if I am expressing an opinion that's different than yours, and then I come into your business, and then you say, hey, you know, I remember you made this opinion. I refuse to serve you. I think when you do something like that, you essentially bring your level down. You reduce the argument to something that's much more immature than what it is.
There's a difference between someone having an opinion and there's a difference between someone having an opinion and someone assaulting somebody. You know,
I'm sorry, what were you saying?
There's a difference between someone having an opinion and someone assaulting someone.
Correct.
You can have an opinion.
Sure.
Who cares?
Because you know what they're like.
We all are entitled to an opinion.
Right.
But if I assault you and call you something that's insulting, that's a whole different thing.
Well, that's, I mean, because you're creating an unsafe environment. I can understand no matter what business you go into or what environment it is, it's still unsafe.
So I think we all roundaboutly agree
that she was wrong to do it.
That we wouldn't do that. She could do it.
She could do whatever she wants.
I don't think she was wrong. It would not be my choice because I would say business is business.
Well, no, we can all agree. I'm going, okay, well,
business is business. We have another segment, Producer Louise.
I don't think we're agreeing on this, actually.
I think she reserves the right to not let someone in.
Certainly.
It wouldn't be my choice if I had that business. I would say I wouldn't do that.
You
say something I don't agree with, well, hell, you know, you wouldn't have any customers. If you came in and verbally assaulted someone or said, oh my God, you're a damn lesbo or whatever, I mean, you're out.
On the other end of the spectrum, from the consumer side of thing, I do think that it's important to spend your dollars with businesses that do support our community. You know, whether it's a small business or a big business that do support our community. And there's an app I have on my iPhone called Buy for Equality, and it rates these businesses, and I had no idea that Urban Outfitters, it was like a 0 on the scale. It was like one of the worst possible scores they could get. And they're right here in Hillcrest. I used to love to shop it, but I don't shop there anymore. I'd rather put my dollars, whether it's a big business or a small business, someone that supports our goals in our community.
And I do what you had just said a little bit ago about us, like businesses supporting political campaigns and all that, agendas. I think that is one of the worst business moves someone can do. I think that all businesses should be, well, I mean, come on, like if you have like
I see what you're saying.
Said that for it. It kind of bothers me that he just said that comment.
What happened?
I heard his commentary. But I do. I mean, as a business owner, I mean, yeah, you may have your beliefs, but I don't think you should get involved in like a political.
And this is the problem: is the minute that they said that money was free speech, and then I mean, essentially, businesses and corporations have all the money. I mean, that's just the way it is. And so once they made that decision that money was free speech,
they're crossing in it.
The politics and business. I mean, they're in bed with each other, and you know, it's like
that's why they have those super PACs now, and that's how they're giving all those monies to all of the candidates, and it's a huge big business.
So I mean, and that's why the Senate has an 8% approval rating. It's because they don't necessarily represent the people who have a vote. They now represent the people that have the money, who have essentially the biggest voice.
That's why they're arguing about tax cuts and all this other stuff. You know what what it boils down to is just people are so rotten to each other for the most part. You know what I mean? It's just
they're very rotten. I'm tired of seeing how rotten people are to each other on Facebook too. It drives me up.
But you just delete those people. You block them from seeing their feed.
We're not talking about Facebook right now, Ian, but we can talk about that another time. But you know, one of the things, this is sort of going back to the Madonna show.
People will.
I'm making a point. People were criticizing CeeLo Green, like, you know, all kinds of stuff. Why is he wearing the bathrobe and, you know, just everything horrible. And I thought it was that when he did with the number with like a prayer with like the preacher's robe sparkly on, and like I heard commentary like, what's his sexual orientation? Who cares? It was art. It was entertaining. Like, do we really need to get all caught up in what's CeeLo Green, who he sleeps with? Do we care?
I mean, but when does that ever not happen? I mean,
it just really got me because it was so artistically done.
People care more about who you fuck than like what religion you are, the good things that you've done. I mean, nobody.
I want to know who you're fucking.
I think you'll meet her eventually.
The only thing that I noticed about CeeLo Green's performance is that he has really small hands.
And really like.
Ian,
everything I noticed on him.
He has a really warm heart.
Ian, I think he might have some sort of dwarfism. I'm not kidding.
Oh, really?
He's got like short arms.
He does.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's very big, but I'll tell you what. I watched that Voice last night for the first time.
That'll be for next week.
Okay, so we're going to take a break and we'll come right back with coming up events. I thought he said we were going to break. No.
He said show's over.
I couldn't read that. I said I can't read that.
I told you.
I didn't hear you. And we're back. We have one really short segment. Ian's going to tell us what is up and coming in this lovely community that we call Hillcrest.
Oh, are we doing events? I just wanted to say something really quick about the Voice last night.
Okay, I do too.
Because I wanted to post it on Facebook, but my computer froze. Okay, I'll stay it up.
All right, hold on to that.
And you guys might not appreciate this as much as I really appreciate it. But The Voice last night was the premiere, and at the very end, there was Tony Lucca.
Oh, I know, that was great.
So, I, obviously, as a gay man who loves musicals, grew up on the new Mickey Mouse Club. Like, I can sing like the whole opening intro.
I don't believe you.
I grew up on Kids Incorporated, and my first boy TV crush was Tony Lucca.
Oh, what?
So last night when I saw him, I was like, oh my god.
At least you recognize him.
I have goosebumps right now talking about it.
You had an orgasm.
You recognized him. Christina Aguilera didn't recognize him at first.
I know. I was like, come on, girl, how could you? And then, so that made my night.
I love this show. I swear, they hooked me the first night. There was good people.
Yeah.
So anyway, Ian, tell us what's going on this next week.
All right, coming up
before we get killed.
Hopefully, if this episode's posted on Tuesday, I know in the community there's a big thing about the Hillcrest Pride flag. Well, tomorrow there's a community meeting for the Uptown Planners at 6 p.m. at the Joyce Beers. 7 p.m. Well, I'm sorry, I have it for 6 p.m. at the Joyce Beers Community Center.
I just want to say those are the most boring meetings. If you can sit through one of those, I had to run to Flicks the last time to get a glass of wine. It was that bad.
Of course you did.
I did. I'm not going to lie.
6 p.m. And then on Wednesday is I Play for Charity, which benefits Family Matters at Dave & Buster's from 6:30 to 9:30 p.m. Thursday at Baja Betty's is drive.
I'm going.
Is drive-by drag, and again, I can't.
Can I just say one thing? The last time that they had the drive-by drag, there was a Charger game. It was the Thursday night, so I watched the Charger game and walked down there for the 9 o'clock show. It was so much fun.
I can't wait.
I'm going to the 7 and the 9 o'clock shows.
I'm going to the 9 o'clock.
I'm belling up to that bar and having a.
Two of those from the last time.
I'm really, and this is again.
It's a lot of fun.
This is another one that Olive can't perform in, and I'm really bummed by that because also that night is Laugh Out Proud at Martinis Above Fourth, which starts at 8 p.m. And then this weekend is the big 40th Imperial Court coronation festivities all throughout the weekend. And I would like to wish Lady Ajax the best of luck.
Oh, me too.
Is she running for Empress?
She is.
And who's running for Emperor?
I forget his name. Sorry. Tom Dickerson.
I'm asking Nicole. I want a title, and there's something to still give
Jesus
around.
Christ, Courtney.
Love Lady Ajax.
You're not getting one, Eric Hufford. No.
But if you like information on the events of the whole weekend and ticket information, go to ImperialCourtSanDiego.com.
How do you vote? If you wanted to vote for Lady Ajax, what do you do?
You have to go to the event.
You have to
and I do believe that the event is sold out.
You have to be
is that
invited.
correct?
No, you can go in there and buy it.
I heard Coronation was sold out, so anyhow.
Wow, I actually have Saturday night off too. Shoot.
Well, you're too late. Anyways, Amber, how was it? Did you have fun?
It was fantastic.
You were fabulous.
I love it.
Thank you for sitting in. Are you wanting to come back next
Women say that to me all the time, Courtney.
All right, easy, sister.
I'd love to come back. Will you have me back?
We'll have you back next Monday. You guys have a wonderful week.
Only if you wear your Birkenstocks.
Be nice to each other. No, we're going to take you to the DSW, girl. Be nice to each other.
What, do you think I'm cheap?
We'll see you later. No, I am.